Hello, welcome to Seed Sunday. I'm James Barlow and I'm kindly joined today by John Haywood of Unium Bioscience. John, thank you very much for joining us today and welcome to the channel.
Hi, pleasure. No, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
So, John, today we are going to talk about Exseed, which is going to be a new product to a lot of growers. We're still in very much the trial and evaluation stage with the product. It's not really hit commercialization yet, but the idea is for everybody to learn a little bit more about what the product is, because it's a very novel new mode of action that we've not seen before on seed treatments.
So yeah, if you look at just a quick refresh on where Unium are, we're a research-based business. We develop and supply biologicals, biostimulants, and bioavailable nutrition to the seed treatment, soil applied, and foliar market. And what we try to do, our objective is to support growers like yourselves in terms of maximising crop production with innovative, sustainable, and affordable solutions. And I think one of the key things with that, and like working with yourselves and the way we deliver that data, is to be very transparent, to give the typical yield responses, the return on investment. But we think even more so to take that to what is your percentage chance of a break even, or hopefully better, so that the farmer then can make an informed decision based on the situation that's in front of him. And we like that real open transparency, so that the grower is then fully aware of all the information before he makes his decision. Right. So what we've done with Exseed, we've got a long history with forming relationships with research companies around the world, and we formed this relationship with Vision Biologics in the USA, one of the leading inoculant businesses. And they've got the full range of rhizobia inoculants for all the different pulse crops. So it's not a one size fits all. For each different pulse, you will have a different rhizobia. And it's one key thing that I would suggest growers do when they look at their pea crops is look at the nodulation, look at the colour to make sure it's pink and that it's active and nearly blood red. And if they look at their nodules and they're grey and they're white, then they're not active nodules that are working in symbiosis with the plant. They're being more parasitic. So you need to make sure you've got the right species for the right crop. And that's the key thing with inoculants. You're giving the crop that added boost to make sure that the inoculation is with the right species to give you the nitrogen fixation.
So we've got some examples on some slides, John, to work through to show some examples of how actually the rhizobia are benefiting the crops.
You can see how that actually happens. So the rhizobia finds its way to the root, works between the cell wall and the cell membrane, and then it will form the nodule from that within the plant. And this is a really key symbiotic relationship. The plant allows that infection and allows that mutualistic relationship to form. And for where you've got conditions such as extremes of pH, often wet soils in early spring, low organic matter, low biological reserves in the soil, that's the key opportunity where you can put the odds in your favour by inoculating the crop with the right species of rhizobia. So as we said earlier, different species for beans, different species for peas, soya, lupins, clover, etc. So it's making sure you've got the right one for the right crop.
So at that point, John, with regard to the mechanism of delivering the rhizobia to peas and beans, we'll focus on those because they're the main legumes for the UK. How do we apply that to seed at the moment on the two main crops?
As we often see, particularly with biologicals, often the best method is with a seed treatment. And so by actually coating the seed, that gives you the inoculum is right there in the face of that seed when it starts to germinate to form that relationship. But on certain crops where you can't do that, and often where growers are using things like beans, for example, then you can have the inoculum in a peat-based formulation, and you can add that into the hopper box at the time of planting. So sometimes you can apply both to double your insurance, or often one or the other is the best option.
So here now we're looking at the results in some of the pea trial work that you've done.
What you've got here, James, is looking at peas after 13 days, and that's about that critical period. A pea seed's got around 10 to 12 days worth of nutrition within the seed, therefore it's got to get the rest from the soil after that. And you can see these roots really developing well, slightly different between the varieties. So again, varietal choice by situation may be appropriate. And you can see that here's a trial at PGRO. That leads through to better establishment, more quicker development of the nodules, and that leads to more rapid above ground and below ground development. When you look at that in terms of spring beans, showing you again here with some nice pictures looking at nodulation, you can see the increased nodulation that we've got from the inoculant onto the spring beans. And what does that lead to going through into harvest on all the pulse crops? You get more pods per square metre set, you get more pods per stem, and you get more beans per pod. So that's where you're driving your yield response. And in this situation, you've got half a tonne yield increase.
Fantastic. And this is the main thing, is providing growers with an opportunity to get return on their investment from biologicals or any other seed treatments. You know, we almost have a responsibility to ourselves to make sure that the two go together hand in hand. John, I'd like to thank you very much for your time today. That is Exseed's an extremely exciting product. We're only really just at the start of the journey with regard to understanding and learning about what it offers broad acre production. What I would say to any growers who are watching this and would like to do some trialing on their own farms, or would like to be one of the sort of pioneers of this new technology, please get in touch via your farm trader or the contact details at the end of the video. And make sure you sign up to the Unium technical group for further details on Exseed and all the other exciting new seed treatment products coming through from them. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great season.